Climbing shoes are essentials for rock climbing. But then, if your climbing shoes do not adequately fit, climbing will not only be more difficult but also very risky. So, this video has been made to explain in detail how your climbing shoes should fit. If your rock climbing boots are too big or small, all hope is not lost. We will tell you what to do to make them fit properly. How to know if your climbing boots are tight. As a rock climber, if you can get a pair of shoes that perfectly fit, that will be great. Many climbers usually have to settle for too large or too small shoes, which is not exactly the best. By wearing tight-fitting shoes, many climbers have numb feet, curved toes, and sores. But then, big shoes do not have many consequences, although it makes climbing more difficult. Also, some climbing techniques cannot be performed with big shoes. Unfortunately, fitting of climbing shoes is not something most climbers talk about. As a result, those suffering from it do not know how to handle the situation. So, we decided to let you know the ways of checking if your shoes are oversized. 1. Air pockets around your toes. This is one of the easiest ways of knowing if you have oversized or incorrect models of climbing shoes. A perfectly fitting shoe should seem like having an added skin layer over your feet. That means there is no way that air pockets can be created. There are tons of climbing shoes available online and in local stores. Because of this, choosing the right one can be challenging. The shape of the climbing shoe does not affect your climbing but may affect your feet. 2. Straight toes. Your toes are supposed to be slightly bent in your shoes for stability and firm grip. This way, you don't have to use your toe tips to climb. But if your toes are straight, it will be inconveniencing to you. Your foot muscles will get weak from supporting your climbing and carrying your shoes at the same time. The degree of bend a climbing shoe should have depends on the feet of the climber. Expert climbers can use tight climbing shoes. It bends and also hurts their toes. As a beginner, climbing will almost be impossible with such shoes. You will be discouraged by sores on your toes. So, go for a pair of climbing boots that are not too tight. 3. Slack the heel. Another way to know if your climbing shoes are oversized is if they sit or slip around their heels. As we pointed out earlier, climbing shoes are supposed to be like second skin layers. Gaping shoes not only make you less comfortable but also less stable and safe while climbing. These kinds of shoes will not give you enough momentum to pull yourself up. It will also make you overwork your calves, which may lead to severe fatigue and cramp. 4. Large cavities around your toes. There are parts of your leg that can easily tell you when your shoe is oversized. If you have too much cavities towards your toes, beneath your hollow foot or above it, the shoes are oversized. The shoe size may be correct, but you have the wrong model. This can happen to anyone, so don't beat yourself up. You can swap it for a model with a narrower and higher arch. Furthermore, you may want to go for laced models. They will allow you to adjust the laces to get a better grip in large cavity areas. 5. Stretched shoes. One thing that is very common with leather climbing shoes is that they are easily stretched. This makes them somewhat oversized and out of shape. Most climbers prefer to go for leather climbing shoes. This is because it allows the leg to breathe better and more convenient. That is better for the legs compared to the synthetic shoes. But their formability is a source of concern when they become stretched. How to shrink an oversized climbing shoe. Climbing shoes are very stretchy, especially leather ones. When that happens, you do not need to dispose of them or buy a new one. If that happens, you can make them smaller by following two methods. However, note that not all shoes are shrinkable. Also, washing does not always help when it comes to shrinking your shoes. The quality of your shoe determines how well it will shrink. Note that some climbing shoes can be perfectly shrunk to fit your feet. However, other models retain their original shapes before you attempted shrinking. Here's how to go about the shrinking shoe. 1. Launder shoes. The first thing that comes to mind if you want to shrink your shoes is to wash them. You can do this by hand or by machine. However, it will be catastrophic if you wash synthetic climbing shoes. The only way to shrink synthetic shoes is by wearing socks. If you attempt any other thing, you risk destroying your shoes for good. Also, you can only wash leather climbing shoes. When washing your leather climbing shoes, use very little to no detergent. Also, it should be at a low, moderate temperature. Otherwise, you may destroy the rubber and leather of your shoes. And do not forget to remove the laces of your shoes if they have. You can also wash the laces by hand or by machine. After washing, you should dry your shoes properly. You are not supposed to wear them if they are not 100% dried. This is because they will go back to their original shape and size if you use them when wet. Wearing damp shoes is an excellent way of stretching them. It is not advisable to dry your shoes under direct sunlight. This is because the UV rays of the sun will damage them. Also, drying cabinets, dryers, or ovens should not be used for drying climbing shoes. Instead, you can dry them at room temperature. This way, the rubber and leather materials of the shoes are protected. Thus, your shoes will serve you longer. If your shoes are soaked with water, you can put pieces of paper inside to absorb the moisture. This way, the shoes will get dried quickly while shrinking in the process. Remember to change the paper hourly, so that the absorption process will be faster. 2. Wear socks. Washing and drying your climbing shoes is not the only way to shrink your shoes. You can also shrink them by putting on a pair of socks. But then, most climbers do not like this method because they prefer to do their climbing barefooted. Socks not only makes your shoes tighter but also more comfortable and stable. Of course, thin climbing socks are better and cheaper than seams. You can be managing a pair of socks until when you have saved up for a brand new climbing shoe. How to get the perfect size of climbing shoes. Finding a climbing shoe that will fit perfectly can be tiring and frustrating. That is why it is important to do your research and take your time before picking a climbing shoe. Before you purchase a climbing shoe, make sure you test all new shoes close to the evening. Your feet will be a bit swollen in the evening due to a surge in blood flow and circulation. Testing the shoes at this time will help you to find the perfect shoe size. However, if that time of the day is not convenient for you, you can do something else. You can just take a stroll around the area before you start testing shoes. The brief walk will help to increase blood circulation in your feet. How to know a well-fitted climbing shoe. 1. It must be comfortable. A good climbing shoe should always feel like an extra skin. Climbing shoes are specially designed to provide comfort and stability for the user. Make sure you go for a shoe that does not even feel like you are wearing a shoe. 2. It must be stable. Some climbing shoes have a stiff feel, while others have a soft feel. For the most part, stability affects climbing. And a good shoe will not only make you stable but also confident. Finding the sweet spot simply means finding a climbing shoe that feels firm and stable. But it should not be so undersized that wearing it becomes unbearable. Go for shoes that are a little tight when you purchase them. After some time, the shoes should stretch and become more comfortable for you to wear. However, if your shoes still feel tight after using them for some months, you can expand them. Just soak them up a little and use them to climb. Your shoes will stretch faster this way. 3. Exchange thoughts with other climbers. Another thing you could do is talk to fellow climbers regarding the type of shoe they use. You can never tell how much a shoe will stretch. Shoes can expand with half or an extra foot size after using them for some months. Getting recommendations will give you an idea of what model will suit you perfectly. 4. The type of climbing shoe. There are many options on the market for climbing shoes. And trying to pick the right shoe can be tough. However, it is important to note that each shoe model is designed to fit different climbing styles. Hence, you must arm yourself with knowledge about what kind of shoes fit your style of rock climbing. 5. The structure of your foot. Your foot size and structure go a long way in determining the type of shoe you would get. You will need to study your foot and know the kind of shoes that fit. Some questions that you should answer are, how long are your toes? Do your toes have an equal length? How high is your foot arch? Do you have a wide or slim heel? Once you can answer these questions, your search becomes a lot easier. 6. Velcro, slide-on, or lacing. The most common models of climbing shoes are Velcro, lace, and slip-on. Slip-on shoes are the easiest to take off. They are great for multi-pitch rock climbing, where you can easily pull off your shoes without delay. The lace or drawstring model is quite easy to wear. It is great for rock climbing where you have to do longer routes. It also gives you good support for more stable climbing. The Velcro model can be likened to a hybrid. It is easy to take on and off, and it also gives you good support when climbing. You can purchase any of the models that suit your preference. 7. Try shoes before buying. Since you will need to try out some shoes before purchasing one, you should visit a store. There are different shoe sizes with other structures. Therefore, you cannot say for sure how well a shoe will fit if you are purchasing it online. Buying your shoes in a store offers you a greater advantage. You can always seek the advice of staff in the store. Also, you have the liberty to try out different shoe models. 8. Buy online. If you do not have the opportunity to go to a store, ordering online may be your best option. So, how would you know the perfect fit? Some online stores have a return policy. You can always return products if you are not satisfied with the product. So, simply purchase 2 to 3 pairs of shoes of the same brand. But make sure they are of different sizes. Once you get them, you can test each pair to know the perfect fit. Afterward, you can return the other pairs and your money returned. Note: endeavor to check out the return policy of the company you are ordering from. Some companies do not allow a return once the product has been opened and used. So, make inquiries before purchase. If you've enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you'll know once we post a new video. Also, drop a comment below so we can know your thoughts. Finally, don't forget to check the description below for more details and visit our site, www.zimclimbing.com, for more awesome climbing content like this.